Good morning, everybody. Getting started here. Running a little bit late. A couple things going on this morning that got my attention. Let me just drop this into a couple different spots. Um, I'm really this is getting kind of nuts, but it's kind of exciting to watch as well. Um, People kind of caught on that this stock owns 90% of HKD. Just watch it. I mean, it's up to you what you do with it. I covered it in one of the top 10 videos. I think I covered it this week, actually, that, they own it. You can try to trade this, but I mean, it's going to end, it's going to end in tears. Just a question of how. So that's definitely something you're going to have to kind of watch, but it's definitely out there. It's definitely something that people are going to play. There's no question about it. And just keep that in mind. So let's get let's get this going, and let me get this into a couple different spots, and then we'll be good to go. If you have questions or there's ones that you're interested in, just throw it out there in the room, and I will definitely get to them today. So let's get going here, and we are good to go. And let's just drop this right here. And let's go here and go. Thank you. All right. Earnings. Getting exposure on AD. And let's go here and go coffee and charts live now. And let's just drop this down and we're good to go. Perfect. Like it. And let's go. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I actually went over this during the week, and I was so busy yesterday buying puts in Tesla at the end of the day that I missed this. So, and this happens. I want to make that clear to everybody. I was talking to one of the people that were in the trading room yesterday. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, click all notifications, and you like this video. It helps me with the algorithm. But I missed this yesterday. I missed these volume spikes because I was so busy shorting this that I really wasn't paying attention. So, I can only look at so many things. I was actually talking to someone about it last night. There are things that I just am going to miss because I can't look at every single stock. But yeah, this is just absolutely flying. And it looks to me like, it's going to be the cheap look. I'll say it this way. It's going to be the cheap man's version. Okay. This is going to be the cheap man's version of what's going on out there right now. So I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it is what it is. So just kind of keep that in mind. So you're going to see volume in this. You're going to see people play this because they can't buy an $800 or $900 stock, right? So they're going to want a proxy. And now for some reason they woke up to it yesterday, but it's been there. It's been glaring. It just has not moved or participated in the move. It kind of did from here. Dollar stock, now you're 13. You kind of have to just play it out and see how it goes, but it could just keep going. I mean, if you're to extrapolate the value of what their percentage stake is in this from there, this thing's just beginning, right? Like if someone's going to say, oh, at 800, their stake is worth this thing could double or triple again. So it depends on how they're going to play it. Just be aware of that. So that could just be beginning. And what you'd want to do is just wait for a sell off and then play it that way. And go from there. Good for you, Jen. That's awesome. What's up, Fred? What's up, Michael? NEM, VMC. Yeah, NEM just really got crushed, didn't it? So, you kind of have to see what happens there. From my perspective, it's definitely something where I would not go near this. There's something seriously wrong here. If you get rid of all these annotations, you saw the earnings report, you're getting ready to break that again. And let's just go through gold. Gold's rallying, NEM's getting absolutely decimated. So I would be really, I'd be really careful here. Really careful there and watch what's going on. I would not be in a big hurry to do anything there. So just watch this. To me, it looks like it's going to break again. To me, this looks like a really low riding H, right? And then as soon as I break that level, it's just going to be, risk on again. So I'd be really, again, I can't stress this enough. I'd be really careful there with something like that. It's not something I'd be rushing into, Michael. That's for sure. I do want to cover pins because I brought it up. Um, Look, for you longer term investors that are out there looking for something to put away and forget that you own, they were very clear that they're going to work very closely with Elliott Management to get as much value for their shareholders as possible. They couldn't have been clearer on that conference call. This can bounce substantially over that and keep running. So if you're a long-term investor, you need to be looking at this. And I just want to get that out there. You really need to be paying attention to these levels. You can see where Elliott Management started buying, and you can just see what level they're using as support and just start building a position in there and leave it alone for a year, if you're looking long term, and you'll be fine with it. Now, also, I want to just point this out. They took a 9% position in this company as well. So based upon that, this could come in just as much. And that's something that I think that we all really need to focus on. Like, what if that comes in and it comes in hard? And it can come in very hard on earnings tonight. If it does, my advice would be to start looking at it, because you have a net buyer out there in PayPal. Your Elliott Management's going to buy shares. They don't go away. I don't really get into it, but in my former life, I was on that side where I worked for, I actually ran one, a hedge fund. And so I know who a lot of these players are by their actions. They don't go away. They'll be there for years. So this will go higher. It's just a question of when. I actually think there's going to be some kind of merger between these two. It's been rumored for about a year now. But the reason I'm bringing this up is, if this gets hit today, take a look at it. I definitely want to go through that. Let me go through this VMC, and there's some other things I really want to discuss. So this Vulcan Materials, I don't really know what they do. I would tell you just to be cautious. It looks like you've had a nice run, and it looks like you're at a very pivotal spot, my friend. Look at that, Michael. Like, doesn't get much cleaner, does it? So just watch that. Really, really clean. Just be really aware of that. Okay. So someone in the training room that is actually from Germany mentioned that Maersk had good earnings. I do want to point these two out while they're on my mind. DAC's obviously bidding up. They already had earnings. And then Zoom is going to be next. I call it Zoom. I know it's not. It's Zim. But it's just the way that I talk. Let's get rid of all these annotations. And this is starting to curl as well, and you're coming into earnings. So just keep that in mind, and we'll go from there. So let's just keep going through these ideas. If I had to pick, Michael, out of those two ideas, unless you're looking to short, VMC. What's up, Butu? Hey, Brandon. Annette. Yeah, I kept getting asked about that yesterday in the trading room. And quite frankly, I never got to it, never had the time. It's doing really well on the earnings call. So, it's definitely something. Hold on, let me just make sure I'm accurate in what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's acting very well. I just would be really careful chasing anything that is bidding up. Legitimately anything that is bidding up, I would be concerned about. And it's definitely something that would be a concern of mine. So just keep that in mind. I'm not saying not to buy them. I'm saying that you just got to be aware of it. Everyone came out, maintained their target prices on the stock, like the quarter. Some people that were lower raised their target prices. Just FYI, Credit Suisse, Piper Sandler, Barclays, and Morgan, Needham, Citigroup, JP Morgan, they all raised their target prices. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people that raised their target prices on the stock last night. 108 versus 91 cents. Revs were basically beat by 25 million. So it's a good, solid quarter. And all your target prices are substantially higher than where this is. So, that's really where you're at. Let me just see something real quick, because I am short this to see what's going on there. All right. Give me 1 second. So if Tesla breaks here, it can go to 850. But you just watch that 875. We've been bouncing along that line. I might as well just cover it now. We've been bouncing along here since this morning, and you just kind of want to watch that level. That's as low as we've gotten. But 875 really seems to be the level that seems to be holding right now. I do think that if this breaks, you're really first like minor levels like this 866. But let's get into this while I'm here. I think that you can go a lot lower if this breaks. I really do. I think 850 is really where you can get to. It's actually a little lower. I'm sorry. It's actually right here, 843. But I think that that's where this can go if it breaks. But 875 is definitely an area that it's having some support at right now. So just watch this if you're short it or long it. But if you break that 875, 866 with an 850, I think is pretty realistic today. Just remember, this completely rejected yesterday. And this is the kind of stuff I was just pointing out, not only here, but going through it in the trading room. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if this rally is going to end or not end, but you're curling up, got to the 200 and you rejected. I mean, if you were looking for a sign, this one basically slapped you in the head with a frying pan. Like, it's pretty obvious. Look at the day, you're curling up. We're all hoping that it pushes, right, and does something like this. But this is what you're dealing with. If you go and take a look at here at the 4 hour, let me just show you this. Okay. See how you're over on this 4 hour? Let's get rid of the pre and post for a moment, just so you can kind of get this. When was the last time you were over on that 4 hour? How'd that go? Right? Here you are again. And so you kind of have to watch it because you were over the 4 hour here, then you bounced, and then you went back up. So you kind of have to watch how this is going. But after a while, you do get tired and at least will revert down to another level. And maybe that's where you could look at it. But, you can't really just get out because you're over. Like if you did that in October, you were over from October to November and it just ripped. So you don't want to miss it, but you need to be cognizant of that, right? That's all I'm getting at. I hope that helps. Let's see here. Bounce upwards. Where could it bounce to? 893, 887. I'm just being asked where Tesla could bounce to. Where could Tesla bounce to? So let me just point that out. I mean, let's get rid of all these levels and I'll just show you where my head is with it. So if you're in Tesla and you're trying to figure out whether or not you want to hedge, you can always partially hedge. But if you want to look at key levels, I mean, there's one, 887. You've been fighting that all day. You've been fighting the 885 level all day, right? And we know what that is. That lines up perfectly there. So these are two levels that you definitely could bounce to in a heartbeat. I mean, that could easily rip right up to there before earnings. Or I'm sorry, before the open. You can easily get back to there and retest that level. And this is actually setting up a bullish harami right now. You have 10 minutes left on this bar, but if you set that up and then it goes, you could definitely go higher. 887, that would be the next level, 885, 887. And then you start getting to the close, which would be right here. Okay. So they're the three main levels that you could easily bounce to. If you break this level, I think you drop another 10 really quickly. So I hope that helps. In regards to your net trade, let's get back to that. So I know we went off on a little bit of a tangent there because I'm in something, but I would not knock this. I think that you have to watch that 200 line and watch that you're trading up, but that's a lot of upgrades, a lot. And maybe what you do is just watch and see how you act for a little bit. I mean, you are still in a downtrend, but you are curling. Like this is a huge cup, right? So the best thing that could happen, Brandon, is just come from here and, kind of figure it out. Go down to here. Maybe you form a handle and then you go, right? I mean, maybe that's what happens with it. So, but I just would be really careful buying anything up 5%, especially on days when the VIX is up, like, the VIX is running. This was exactly the level we talked about. And I was hoping that we'd break and equities would just explode. That's not what's happening, right? So, man plans, God laughs. And, we have the bond market rallying, right? I mean, one of the best trades we're in, I can always tell the best trades because no one's talking about them anymore. But we bought TLT down here. Okay. You're at 121 now. So people are buying bonds. They're realizing that rates are going to come down. I listened to this guy yesterday. He had a really good point. He was going back to, he went all the way back to the 1800s on rates. And he was talking about it. He said, there's no way that rates stay here. They have to come down. And he had a really valid argument. to it. And I have been thinking that too, that they have to come down, but he was way more eloquent about it than I was. Um, but take a look at this and, just watch this and watch what happens with it. I think it's really important. So, if you can get to that 250 level, I mean, wow. We looked at this on the monthly and you look at how you rejected right there, right? Still have not made a higher high since 1984. So we can go lower. That's definitely possible. I mean, you never broke that trade, never broke that trend line, never broke it, right? You just rallied to it. So what does this have to do with a net? It has a lot to do with a net from the standpoint of you need to be in a position where, here, let me show you. You need to be in a position where you can kind of move these things along, right? Like buying this up 5% only to get your feet knocked out is the equivalent of what we saw people doing yesterday with Nvidia, right? You buy Nvidia into a move like that and then it collapses. You buy Tesla into a move like that and then it collapses. So that's really where I think your head needs to be, and I think that's what you need to focus on. So I hope that's helpful. Um, Brandon. Hey, what's up, Daniel? Yeah, I think that you do. I think that it's definitely going to weigh at the market. I mean, look, I don't care politically. She has every right to go there, and we should not be threatened by another country. Period. We should also not interfere in what's going on in other countries the same way. I mean, that's kind of my political stance on it. But she has every right to go there and not be scared because some country tells her not to go there. But does it raise tensions? Yeah, it definitely raises tensions if you're them. And it's something that we're going to kind of have to figure out. But I think this administration has made our position pretty clear on Taiwan with China. So, but it doesn't mean that those stocks aren't getting hit. They're definitely getting hit. ZIM, I would watch and see if you can flip this to 52. You are coming into earnings, and so you're just going to have to watch that and just watch that earnings level. Okay, you're just going to have to see that level right there, and kind of go from there. Right, you're just going to have to kind of watch that. Okay. I mean, that's really where I'm at. You just kind of have to watch it. But could this go today? Yeah, absolutely. This could go. I mean, look, Maersk had great earnings. They're the 800-pound gorilla. DAC had great earnings. So, and they're responding well to them. So they can absolutely continue. And that's definitely something that should be on everybody's radar for sure. In regards to Taiwan, I bought this yesterday. I think we got a deal yesterday on this, but well, we're going to have to see how long that deal lasts. If we take out that low, it's going to be an issue, and we're pretty much setting up to take out that low off the open. Let's see if we do or we don't, and kind of go from there. But I do like this trade here. I think we did get a value trade out of it. There wasn't much on the bone. I'm trying to stay in it longer term going into AMD tonight, because if AMD confirms guidance, and names like Taiwan Semi and GFS are going to go crazy, in my opinion. But you're going to have to just kind of watch them. I mean, this is up 20% since they started that talk. So the semiconductor talk and what's going on there. So yeah, but do you need to be aware of it? Yeah, you need to be aware of it. You definitely need to be aware of it. I would not be buying calls into, I mean, what are you buying calls into? You're buying calls into a downgrade going into earnings? It's not my kind of trade. I mean, I have no idea what they're going to say. The only thing I would say about it is they have reiterated their guidance twice now. So if they miss guidance or lower guidance, they're going to look really dumb. And maybe somebody knows something, and that's why they're doing it ahead of earnings. I really have absolutely no idea, how that's going to play out. But to me, it's definitely something that I would be aware of. And could you play it on the long side? Sure. I don't know that I'm going to randomly own something just going into earnings and hoping that it works. I mean, up 10% or down 10%, it's not really a trade to me. If I was going to do that with a name, I would be leaning more towards this because they're going to talk about Elliott Management and the 9% stake they took and how they're going to make money from it. So let's just take a look at what's going on here with this and look at this on that basis and see what's going on. Yeah. So you already have your top marked off right now. Now you've made your lower low. Now this is starting to roll and you can see you have a negative divergence here. So just be careful with this. This might have been, might be a top. You're gonna have to watch this. I mean, I definitely would be taking profits if I was in this, at least trimming your position. DVN. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people didn't think that she was going to go when she's been talking about it for a month. Semiconductors are a big thing for this country. Her going there, I don't really view as the worst idea in the world. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't matter. DVN, you ran right to resistance and you rejected. Very, very little to say there. Very little to say there. Earnings were okay. Look, that whole sector is having good earnings, right? Hold on, let me just pull this one up. BP. I mean, BP's up 3%, flipping the Doji, flipping the 200 on good earnings. Oxy has numbers tonight. I think they're going to be good, but everyone has to make their own bet. We're in this a little cheaper, but you have to make your own decision if you're going to want to stay in this or not into earnings. These are decisions that people have to make. You shouldn't have other people making them for you because everyone has different risk tolerance. I mean, talk about volume just drying up. Look at that. Look at the volume and how it's just drying up on that ahead of earnings. So what do you do with DVN here? It's a really good question. I mean, for me, looking at it, I wouldn't touch that. That's not something I would be going near. For me, I would have to at least flip that level before I'd even consider it 63.10. Other than that, I don't even know why I would even consider getting involved with it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I hope that helps. AXNX. Man, I haven't heard that one in a while. AXNX. Please like this video. It helps me with the algorithm and supports the channel. Let's go right here. I need little graphics or something. Okay. So AXNX. That's interesting. And look at this volume coming out. Did you have earnings? Yeah. I mean, and look at this move. I mean, yeah, that's hard not to buy, man. You've got the volume ahead of it, so they know that there was going to be a good quarter. Now so those people aren't going to go away. So, I mean, look for dips, add on dips if you get that. But yeah, I could see that. I mean, look, here's the higher low that you broke, right? So you got the higher low done. Okay. This is where you would go, all right, well, how are we doing here? Right. And now let me just show you this because this is really interesting. See how you're here and then you tried and then you finally broke. But look at this. Okay. Bonk, bonk. Like what people don't get about these little wedge levels is they flip just like a support and resistance flip. And that's exactly what happened here. See how you respected it? So whoever was buying or is trying to accumulate in here, they're still there. And these levels work because one, we're aware of them, but two, also because that's how people are accumulating. Wow, was that a bargain? Look at that. That had to be an earnings debacle. Yeah, just debacle and just rallied straight from it. Good for it. So, kind of go from there. BBBY. I mean, this is really tough, man. You're just basically hoping that somebody on you're just hoping someone on Reddit like pumps it again so that you can make money. I mean, that's really all you're doing there. The best thing you could do with it is to get yourself there and get up and in it. That's really what you're doing. That's the only thing that you can do is just get up and in it and kind of go from there. But it's not something I'd be interested in. What's up, Steve? LABU, it's rolling. I mean, this is one of the things, I'll just go through it. You got to be careful here. I mean, can this go back? Like we're in this cheaper, and I actually had some $10 stuff, but look, it's broke. You broke that level. You're through. There's very little to say here, very little to do here. um, it can get back down to here, and you have to understand that. This is more troubling to me. This is about as troubling to me. Like here, look at this, Steve. This is one of my concerns with the market right now. Right besides the VIX, where's my leadership? Like there's no leadership in the market, right? It's kind of going away. We're kind of banking on the fact that it's going to be, it's going to be this, it's going to be the stocks after AMD. That's kind of what we're banking on. But if you kind of look at this, right, and you kind of look at the longer major trend, you can get rid of and you assume that this is like a more minor trend, right? And that would be the case because of the length. I'm rejecting up here, right? So let's get rid of this level so that you can see what I'm looking at. But so I'm rejecting for now. So I have to look at that and go, well, that's not good. And if I take out that lower low, I have a problem. So I'm relying on this level to get me going. And that's a problem. That's a real problem. So I'd be really careful with LABU. I would not add to it now unless it sells off drastically and then you catch the bottom, off an RSI move and then go from there. Other than that, no, I would not be playing with it. What's up, Shane? DSX? Yeah, I mean, these shipping names can move. Did this have earnings? You had earnings, and now you're just pulling back. I wouldn't even be that concerned myself that much with that pullback. There goes that AMDT. I covered it this morning, so I'm going to keep looking at it so people don't think I walked away from it. You could actually be setting up here to curl. See how these bars are getting smaller and smaller? See how these red bars are getting smaller and smaller? You might want to remember that for your own trades and just use these opening bar spots for your wedge line. Okay, and you can kind of see that. Like, look at those opening bars and how they're getting smaller and smaller, but they're getting tighter and tighter. So that's definitely something that I would not, might even want to watch. You might even want to watch that level and see if you break that or not. But I mean, you can see that level right there, right? But you see how this is getting tighter? See how long this red bar was? See how shorter this one is? See, this one's getting shorter. This is getting ready to possibly do a bullish or a bullish hook reversal, some kind of reversal pattern. You might want to just keep your eye on that if you're a quick trader. And to get back to DSX, I like these names. I mean, I like these shipping names right here. I understand that you're overbought. I understand that this is pointing up, but I like them, and I think they can work. Give me 1 second, please. Just want to get something more to drink. But yeah, there it goes. So there you go, right? So you see how tight that's getting? You should be able to see that here. Right there, right? So that's definitely something to consider and something to take a look at. Now, in regards to see what else we're at the DSX. I mean, I guess I would watch this level unless you're in it already. When you guys ask for names, if you could tell me where you're in at, if you're already in, then I can give you an opinion. I mean, of course, it's just an opinion. It's not really, written in stone. It's just how I would play it or how I would look at it. You may look at it a little bit differently. So something to consider. But if you look at what's going on there, yeah, absolutely. If you can get through this, I think you could really run. But let's take a look at that. And let's take a look at what's going on with this Tesla. I mean, this is something that I was talking about earlier. So you're trying to break above that. That's holding. You have that bullish harami right there. Now, so if you get over that 880.63, seeing 887 is probably realistic. Looks like you're going to do that and push, maybe. You never know. You just don't know. But that's kind of where it looks like it's leading towards, for those that are concerned about it. But, it's the beginning of the day. You could be down big time by 11 o'clock. We just don't know. So that's where I'm at with DSX. What's going on, man? Yeah, I mean, look, you're just being squeezed. You have huge short interest, and they're being squeezed. And now the short interest is the borrow rate's 1,000% per annum. So now they're stuck because they increased the borrow rate to 1,000%. So if you're shorting this, you owe 1,000% on the money that you have invested. It's crazy. So, I mean, there's no rhyme or reason for it. This moved because people think that you're not going to peg the Chinese currency to the dollar anymore. That's why it started to move, because they're a fintech company that would benefit greatly from that. And AMTD Digital, right? So, which we were pretty clear about. I hope I was in the Saturday video that these guys own it. Now, I didn't do anything with this, as I said earlier in the video. I missed this because I was too busy shorting this last night. So into the close. So I really missed that, but it is what it is. Now, in regards to some of these names here, let me just show you. So with something like this, like I went over it in Saturday's video, and you know, the only thing you can do, candidly, is point at the levels, and that's what I did on Saturday. It was like, hey, these are your levels for HKD. If you want to play it, play it. But you know, so when you broke here, somebody had to have the guts to buy that. You know, in 15 minutes, you went from 475 to 660. I mean, you're stepping in front of a train. So is that something that you want to do? That's up to you. You know, I can't tell you if that makes sense or not. And I don't know how fast you are and if you're comfortable with $40 spreads. You know, you buy 1,000 shares, you're down 40 grand just to start. So let's see something else. Amazon. Yep. I have a big position in Amazon. I'm really in very little hurry to move that position or do anything with it. I really like it, and I think it has good earnings. And now we just kind of have to see how we open and how we bounce around. Usually what they do is try to open things up as close to flat as possible and then kind of play with us. You know, I mean, I think that's what's going to happen here, quite frankly, with the market. Even with like Tesla, I think that's what they're going to do. But, you know, and then they're going to kind of pick a direction and go from there. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. But I like Amazon a lot, Fred. I think there was a great quarter. If it takes out that doji, I'll probably cut some of it, but I'm going to hold some of it too. I'm not going to cut that whole trade, even if I take it out of the newsletter. If you don't get the newsletter, there's a free version in the room. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. You have a ton of buying, like a ton. The only thing I'm wondering is if it's been since earnings. I mean, yeah, I mean, so here you lost money and it sold off. Historically, you have mixed quarters. So I don't know how you'd want to play that. For me, it's definitely something that I would just, you know, avoid. You know, I mean, that's just really where my head would be. I would just, you know, avoid it. I don't like to buy these without knowing exactly why it's doing this. I'd have to dig into the quarter, but something's definitely going on there. Yeah. I mean, flipping this was your buy, and then you can kind of see how that pushes and kind of goes from there. But yeah, that's definitely something that should be, you know, looked at for sure. Let's go. Roku and Lowe's hourly charts starting to shape up. I'm not buying Roku. I mean, people are more than welcome to buy that. You flipped here. You can absolutely fill that gap up to here, 85. When you have companies that are missing and doing that poorly, that's not my kind of trade. And could it work? Sure. Just like this Carvania trade going against me. You know, now I'm coming into earnings and I'm really short this, but I'm up in the majority of it. But something like this, yeah, you have to absolutely watch it and you have to see how you're going to act. So for me, it's definitely something I would consider for sure. That's kind of where my head is. Let's see there and keep going. Lowe's, I don't think there's much to say there. It's a beast. I mean, look, people stay at home. Okay. This is one we did from the newsletter. Again, there's a free version of the newsletter. You can follow along. It actually comes out 3 times a week now. I might start emailing the videos that I do daily. I just don't want to inundate people, but I don't think it would be too much. I think some people would actually like it. Anyway, so I think you're going to 199 there pretty quickly, quite frankly. You're coming into earnings. We'll see how that goes. The one thing I have said about this whole space is, look, we're up for $4 in this. I can always tell the trades that are working for people that are in the trading room because they don't talk about them. but they talk about the ones that aren't working that they probably shouldn't be, we shouldn't be in. Um, but when you see things like this, you pay attention to it, because if you flip that level on nail, this thing's just going to run. And the home builders, Daniel, are trading, at basically 1 times book value. Some of them are actually, if you look on like a financial website like FinViz, some of them are actually under book value. So that is historically where you buy those assets. And on top of that, if you go into a recession, which we are in a recession, no matter how you want to quantify it or what you want to call, the market comes in, but you can't buy a new house. You start fixing up your house. You build a deck, and you go build a deck, you get a new kitchen, you fix up your bathroom, right? And what that does is this will wind up pushing higher because of that. So it's definitely an issue. So you kind of go from there, but I like it. What's up, Big West? Gold's so frustrating, bro. Like, I don't trade gold. I'm just going to tell you, I don't trade gold. I don't trade silver. I have a friend that does nothing but trade silver. That's all he trades. And he'll call me every once in a while with like a big tip, and they're always disasters. You're better off just trading against people on that. Just trading it, whatever the flow is, trade against it. LYV. So yeah, I actually like this company a lot. They are really talking about what they're doing going forward. I was listening to CEO recently on this company. I think they're going to do great things, quite frankly. But you are breaking that little wedge line right here. The issue is that this is looming. Like, do you want to hold this going into earnings? This is what it did last earnings. Collapsed. Okay. Look at all that volume. This is what we did last earnings, right? And then we gapped down, and you thought it was over, and then we ran up. So that's a tough one, because you're stepping in front of a train, and the volume's gone away. No one's playing it anymore. So now we have to kind of see how that plays out, and go from there. Cat beat, but it's beaten down for lower future guidance. Why Uber got a pop for losing over $1 billion. Yeah, here's the thing. Some of these shorts are so crowded that you're going to shake a lot of people out. Okay, like Uber is so many people are short Uber with it's going to zero. I don't know that Uber's a zero. I mean, I don't know that. I think that they'll find a way to make it work and make money. The problem is that they need to start making money, and they're not, right? So, they have to turn this on and make money, or people aren't going to put up with it much longer. Not in this kind of environment. Caterpillar, if you take a look at, you've had a huge move up, right? So Caterpillar ran into this. So if you take a look at yesterday, that's why I'm saying you can't play earnings like this. So you get in at 188, you close at 19200. So you had a huge move because of earnings, and then earnings come out, and now people are like, well, we're at 186. And what happened? Well, you're really not that far off from the lows, right? You're still up $15 from the lows. So some people are going to be happy with that, and you're going to have to kind of figure that out. I mean, I wouldn't be buying those, but if you go through these levels, and let's take a look at this XLI, right? So take a look at XLI. I mean, this is one of the sectors that's just mind-boggling to me, because you're running into a recession, which was really rare that industrials would run into a recession. But that whole space, someone was asking me about BA yesterday. You came right to this line, which was the beginning of the year, and now you've stopped. So is it just a revert to the mean of the year kind of move? And I think that's really what you have to take a look at and try to assume if that's what it is or not. Let's go here. AMDT. You know what? I'm going to have to wrap this up. Well, it happened to him. Yeah, I went over it very early this morning. If you listen on the call on the levels, and I just gave another level that wouldn't have worked. The level I gave, it didn't work. So there's your look at that trend line I drew. I mean, that tells you everything you need, right? Something's going to happen. I know that's not prophetic, but you're getting wedged in there. So I would watch it. You're breaking down here. So maybe you're going to slice right through my level. There's nothing there that's redeeming about it yet. I don't really like this. I wouldn't be using this yet. It's not because this isn't solid. So I wouldn't be using that yet. And that's kind of what I was talking about with Tesla. You're going to bounce right off that level, that 875 level. So if you were short that, now you got back up to here, 885. If you want to cover that, some of that, right, and just see how you do off the open with the puts, probably not the worst idea. You just made about 10 points off the puts. Let's just see what's going on here and go from there. Okay. So again, please like this video. Likes are free. You have the best quality content to show you keep track and stay organized. Thanks, man. Been doing it for a while. I could be a little more organized. FFIE came out this morning about 600 million proposed financing. FFIE. Yeah, you spiked on that. Now what it does next, I don't know. Got him. I mean, maybe they're going to get it together. I don't know. Stuff like that I really need to read and spend time with. It's getting interesting. I think it's overplayed, Beast. I do. I think the whole move's overplayed. I mean, I can't imagine China actually shooting Nancy Pelosi out of the sky. I mean, I just don't see it. Like, it's their country. If it, I don't want to get into it. Like, I really don't, because it's none of our business. Like, to me, it's the equivalent to me, right? I mean, I don't know what's going on over there, but if we had an issue here where a state wanted to leave or a state did leave, and then we tried to put the state back, and I'm not saying it's the same thing. I don't understand why we have a stake in it, but I, I don't understand why they think we can't go somewhere. Like, it's not up to them to tell, it's not up to another country to tell the US where their diplomats can go. So I think they're kind of overplayed the hand a little bit, but I understand why they're doing it. But I think this move's over. I'd be really careful chasing that move. Good morning, buddy. Maybe she does buy calls, or maybe she's knocking it down to buy calls. Yeah, I wouldn't be too excited on that. UPS, sure. Let's do UPS. And so, yep. Yeah. I mean, you're running right into this. Earnings were okay, and then it shook it off. Hey, Casey. Melly, I think is going to have awful earnings. It just depends. It really depends on what that means, that it's going to have awful earnings. I can't imagine that Melly's going to have good earnings after Shop, but different company, different market. I don't know. I really don't. Is it going to be more like Amazon, or is it going to be more like SC and Shop? That's a tough one. I would not step in front of that train, Leo. ADM, Archer Daniels Midland. That's exactly what you do. I want to get this out before I forget. Cat down on after earnings call, DE down. Yeah, you play DE long. It's exactly what you do, because that'll revert faster. So if DE's down, that'll revert faster back. Yes, that's exactly what you do. If you want to play that, Robert. ADM, good thinking, Robert. ADM. Yeah, I mean, good earnings, right? And now you've just been going up since it. I mean, like, look, we need food. I think people are grossly underestimating this. That looks great. You can easily get back to that 91 level, 91 and a half. Oh, I agree with that. And it makes it very difficult to do anything there. Crocs and blank. I had a position in Crocs. I blew it out. I just don't want to be there. I'm not saying it can't continue. It's just not, as soon as I got up to this level and the market rolled yesterday, I started closing out some longs, just to be just to be careful. And you asked about, I want to look at this one too. I just want to see something. Yeah. I mean, look, anyone seen any more charging stations? I mean, like, look, you're curling, you're trying. You're going in the earnings, man. Like, if you want to buy it, but you're gambling. You don't know if you're going to get this. You don't know if you're going to get this. That's all you're doing. So the best thing to do is try to get up and in it, but you're right against that 200. That's a tough trade. It's up tangled. So, I really like this trade. If I was going to buy one ahead of earnings, it would be this trade. just because of how they reacted to pins on the Elliott news. We know they're going to talk about their Elliott management getting a 9% stake. What's up, Mitch? All right. So we're going to wrap it up here. Please like this video. Also share it. The more people get in here, the more ideas we get. It's definitely helpful. This, you're going into earnings, right? I mean, do what you want with it. It's not going anywhere. Eventually, they're just going to sell it. It's a bank, and eventually they're just going to sell the bank or merge the bank. I mean, that's what they're going to do. It's not something I would play. I don't know if you're going to get one of these moves or not, but it's definitely not something I'd be going into. So, all right, everybody, have a great day. Trade to win.